Hello, headbangers. Do you have a need for some speed? If so, be careful. You might just meet your demise. Stick around and check out the new album Demiser has just delivered. Hello, everyone. My name is Alan, and I am here on Heavy Metallurgy today to talk about the new Demiser album. It's titled Slave to the Scythe, and it was released in August on Blacklight Records. This is the band's second release. They're from South Carolina, and they play what we've now come to know as blackened thrash metal or blackened speed metal. Has a lot of those characteristics of speed and thrash, the black metal element mainly being in the vocals, that they have that, more hoarse, raspy sound that you associate with a lot of second and even third wave black metal bands. This has become a pretty popular style in recent years. A lot of bands have been popping up. So, how did Demiser measure up? Well, their debut album definitely got a fair amount of attention and had some pretty big labels sniffing around the band, seeing if, they were going to be the next thing to add to the roster. It was a very good album, enjoyed it quite a bit. If it had one drawback, it's the same drawback that a lot of albums in the Black and Speed camp tend to have, is that it can feel a little bit one-dimensional. These bands have one trick to play. They're very good at it, and it's a really fun trick, but it doesn't always hold up great to repeat listens. It's like, well, once you've heard it a couple of times, you know what they're doing, and yeah, there's not really a whole lot more to it necessarily. So while I enjoyed the Demiser debut, it's not an album I've gone back to and played very often since it came out in 2021. Still, I was excited to see that the band had a second album coming out and was interested to see how they had progressed or regressed or maybe just stayed the same. Well, the album starts off with the track Feast, and the first thing you hear is a little percussion intro that is meant to sound like a steam train slowly getting up to speed. The kind of rickety sound as it's starting into motion. And I have to admit, as I heard this starting to unfold, I thought to myself, oh God, if this culminates in someone going woo woo like a train whistle, I'm out of here. I'm just done. We are not going down that set of tracks. Fortunately, that doesn't occur. The band gets up to speed pretty quick and they knock off, the goofy train noises and get right into some serious blistering blackened thrash metal. And to be clear, I don't mind a band doing a fun little gimmick like that. You just have to make sure you know when to turn it back off. And Demiser turned it off at exactly the right point and got right down to business. So yeah, the album delivers, about 40 minutes and 9 tracks of solid black and thrash. One of the things that stands out right away is that the musicianship is really tight on this album. Sometimes bands in this style, they try to really play up a certain looseness in the music. Again, black and thrash, it's kind of become, the party music. It's all, sex and Satan and beer and Satan and drugs and Satan. Did I mention Satan? Because that's always got to be part of it too. And as such, they kind of try to cultivate a rather sloppy, just fly by the seat of your pants kind of sound. That's not at all what Demiser is doing on this record. It's actually a really high level of proficiency on display. These songs are very well composed, they're very tight, and they're dynamic. They actually move through different parts quite a bit. You can hear this on several tracks. These aren't songs where you just have, one beat, one main riff, and a bunch of wild solos and somebody screaming over it. Not at all. There's a lot more going on here. At the same time, the music still fits in the black thrash style quite well, as you can hear on tracks like Total Demise. So yeah, you can hear there that the band knows how to play this style, but they're playing it incredibly well. It's almost got, dare I say it, a more mature sound than a lot of bands that operate in this particular subgenre. Mature is meant to be a compliment. I hope it doesn't go the wrong way because again, this is a style that likes to revel in sort of, the basic stereotypes of heavy metal, as I said before. And Demiser does that as well. Lyrically, yes, this is all about, sex and Satan and drugs and well, you get the idea. They're very much sticking to the core tenets of have fun, throw up the horns, drink a beer, and just go at it wild. It's just that musically, they are showing they're capable of a lot more than just playing a few notes or a few riffs per song, which works really well. There's even an acoustic interlude right in the middle of the album at track 5, which at first can feel really out of place. It's kind of like, God damn, son, how am I supposed to drink my beer and, hail Satan when you're playing this acoustic stuff? But at the same time, it actually works pretty nicely. It again gives them a chance to show off some musical chops, and it also gives the listener a chance to kind of hit the reset button so that the entire album doesn't just run together. You've got 4 songs before the break, and you've got 4 songs after the break. Maybe instead of an interlude, we should think of this as like a brief intermission. And again, they keep it short. It doesn't overstay its welcome. Just gives everybody a chance to catch their breath, go grab a fresh brewski, and get ready for the second half of the album, which I think is the stronger half of the album. This album kind of gets better and better as you get deeper into it, with songs like Hell is Full of Fire. The base feasts on its congregation, asleep of the Scythe, brings to death the roving rain of blasphemies, malice ascends, the Satanic. The album closes on an 8-minute number, and that's a rather epic length for songs operating in this style. Again, the general idea of this particular style of metal is, get in, bang really fast, and get out. It's, sort of more the wham bam, thank you, everybody kind of thing. So 8 minutes is like, wow, what are they going to do for 8 minutes? Well, here again is where Demiser's strong musicianship comes into play. This song takes off right away just fine, but it's able to transition through several sections and is always moving forward. The song never feels boring. It never feels like it's dragging. And you never are like checking your watch, wondering like, okay, this song should have ended 3 minutes ago. It doesn't really feel like an 8-minute song at all because they've composed it very well and proven that, yeah, you don't have to stick to a 2 or 3 minute time frame to make black and thrash anthems work just fine. So really impressive track to end the album with. So yeah, in conclusion, Demiser's got a great slab of black and thrash here that I hope a lot of folks will check out and enjoy. If there's one thing that concerns me, it's simply that this is getting to be a pretty crowded field. In recent years, this style has become more and more popular, and we are seeing a lot of bands release material in this general style, even just this year. We've already had a new release from Midnight. We still have albums from Bewitcher and Butcher coming before the end of 2024. And just last year, we had a very well-received album from Hellripper that was on a lot of people's, best of year lists at the end of 2023. So I am starting to wonder how much room is there? How many bands can kind of cram themselves into this relatively small corner? And like I've said before, many bands, they stick to, just the very basic fundamentals. They don't give themselves a lot of room to operate. So maybe you get one album out and it bangs pretty well, but then what do? Just keep remaking the same album over and over? That might work, but it might not. I don't know how much room this genre has to grow. I think that's where Demiser may have a leg up on the competition. The fact that they're showing some really strong musicality on this album while keeping it black and infernal the way people want means they may just have the right tool set to go the distance, find ways to kind of expand and push out the boundaries of black and thrash a little bit, whereas other bands are just going to be stuck in that corner until it's too crowded and the party's over, nobody gives a fuck anymore. So good luck to Demiser. It's a really impressive second album. The band, I think, has the right tools to succeed and make a real go of it. That's going to do it for this review. If you enjoyed this, please check out Heavy Metallurgy for other album reviews. We try to get at least one album reviewed each week. We have a lot of great collaborators who cover different styles of metal in our weekly reviews. We also have live streams on Wednesday nights and Friday nights. We'd love to see you in the chat. Come hang out and let's talk some metal. Until next time, everybody take care, and as always, keep banging your head.